Hey everybody. Hold on.
So real quick, before you did that, and your origin story, like how did you get into?
Is that he made an age joke the last time we were. I'm gonna use that Kuka.
Hey everybody out there, YouTube land, Facebook as well. I just wanted to. We're gonna give this another shot here with the success broker, Syed. He is a dominant real estate agent, and I will say this: he is an awesome guy. We're gonna get to know him a little bit more. We're gonna know how he got started, where he's at, and hey, if we can do anything to help him, we'll do it. All right. So we'll start off the podcast. I know this is a odd day. Things happen, and we just gotta go with the flow right now. All right. So let's bring on Syed. How you doing, Syed?
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you, bro?
I'm doing all right. So, first off, we'll address last Monday. You had a family emergency.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a breakdown, a little bit of communication. It's all good. I know how hard that is. We'll start fresh and kind of go from there.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate for you for getting me back on here. And again, apologies mix up on the calendar and everything, but I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So trust me, I know how important family is right now. So, and if anybody hasn't been on our Facebook group, it's Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. Please go ahead and join. We're streaming right now to the Facebook group as well as to my YouTube channel. All right. So with that being said, tell me a little bit about you, and what you do, and then we'll start off with how you got started.
Sure. Yeah. So right now I'm a real estate broker in Michigan, in the state of Michigan, and a real estate coach. It's been about 3 years. I've been coaching and training agents. Starting my team back in end of about 2020, beginning of 2021. So right now I'm running a real estate team here in Michigan, completely remotely. I run this is my office. This is my operation. I have about I think we are at 6 agents in my team and about 17 agents in my downline. Another 12 agents in my coaching program. So altogether 35-ish agents that I train and coach on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. On the weekdays, we do morning calls, we do prospecting, we do role play together. But we're serving, as far as real estate goes, we are serving Wayne County, Macomb County, and Oakland County. Majority of our business is here. We do have agent in Washington County and Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area. Our brokerage is in all 50 states. So we also do transactions other states where we refer it to agents in our network. So
that's awesome. So with that being said, obviously that I'm a wholesaler. Okay. So we talk all about real estate, not just wholesaling here. All right. So tell me, how can I'll save this for later. So no, I'll save this for later because it's going to be a good one later on. So all right. So tell me how you got started. All right.
Okay, so let's start. So I've been in this country about 17 years now, maybe a little bit over 17 years. When I first came in, I went straight into high school, senior year high school. I went to Pershing High School in Detroit. Graduated in like 6 or 7 months, and I went to Wayne State Engineering School. I was in engineering school for 2.5 years-ish, And I read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's actually on my shelf right here. Right there. Right there. I read the book and I was like, I'm doing it all wrong, right? Meaning the path that I'm taking. I was working full time as a server in Birmingham at a restaurant to be able to afford school, to be able to afford parking. If you know Wayne State area, I don't know how it is now, but back then this was 09 ish. And at this during this time, market was obviously bad. Like real estate market was bad, but economy all itself was bad. And I started seeing, engineers who are laid off as our teacher, as our professors, right? And they're like, they're kind of like, being negative and as far as the engineering field when they're in school. And I'm reading this book, and my dad actually bought this book in a garage sale. And he just brought it in, like all this stuff he bought in garage sale. I'm like, what is that? Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I never heard of this book before. And I'm not a book guy. Well, I used to not be a book guy, but I'm like, okay, I'll read it. I read one chapter. I'm like, this is interesting. Like, this talks about, all the 4 quadrants. And I'm like, okay, I need to read more. And I read. I'm like, okay, the path that I'm taking is pretty much what he talks about in the book that you don't want to take, right? I'm like, okay, I need to figure something out. And I always wanted to do business. I always wanted to do something that allows me to create the financial freedom, right? Coming into America, I already had that culture shock because we grew up watching Disney, right? Disney movies. And so I had a complete different picture of America. And coming into America, coming to Detroit, moving to Detroit, first thing, I had like a shock. Like I was like, this is not what I...
So real quick, I got a question. You brought up Disney, all right? And hopefully Disney doesn't sue me for saying that, whatever. But anyways, but I gotta, and you said you grew up watching Disney. Did you think high schools here in America were going to be like High School Musical?
That's the picture I had in mind. Okay? That's the picture I had in mind, definitely.
Okay.
Disney cartoons even, like with Disney movies, Disney cartoons. It had it. It's not that I was racist, right? I'm
no, of course,
right? But it was like the high school that I went, Pershing High School, right? There was literally one or two white person in the school, right? So that was a shock. My English wasn't so good, but still, I was educated in an English medium school, so I knew how to speak, but in a English accent, right? So not an American accent. So, but even American accent versus Detroit accent, right? Like you get the picture, right? I couldn't understand anyone in the school because they're talking the ghetto English, right? So that in itself was a shock for me. So I knew that I had to do something. I had to do something different to radically change. My parents were working in the factories in production when they came here to be able to afford the lifestyle, to be able to rent, to be able to do all that. So 09 comes, I decide that, you know what, I'm not going to take this path because I'm working full time. The math doesn't make any sense to me, right? Like I'm working full time. I have the partial financial aid. It's still not really making sense. And if I'm done with school, there is no jobs because all big 3 companies where I was my dream job, right? We're not doing so good. And eventually, after I dropped out of school, they filed bankruptcy. So at that time, I was like, yes, like this was the right decision. But anyway, I go into, I started an online business. And this was when I was in school already after reading the book. I started like, okay, what can I do? What can I do to make money? And at the time, making money online was a new thing, right? So I'm like, okay, what is the fastest way? So I started this hustle where I would go on Craigslist every time a new phone would come out. So let's just say at that time, I believe it was like iPhone 3GS or 3G. So every time a new phone would come out, I would go lowball all the previous version. So let's say someone's trying to sell their phone for $300. I would say, I'll give you $200 in an hour. I'll come pick it up right now. And I would go buy it and I would put it on eBay. eBay was pretty popular back then, and Amazon didn't even exist. So anyway, eventually, like 1 year doing that, I built up some equity and built up some capital, then we started doing was going to outlet stores in the malls, and every outlet store has a semi-annual sale. They would sell their products, whether it's health and beauty products or a clothing line, for 85%, 75% off. And we would buy that stuff and we would hold it for about a month, 2 months, wait for people, whoever bought it at that price. Initially, we didn't have a lot of capital. We couldn't afford to hold it. We would sell it right away on eBay. But anyway, long story short, I did that for 4 years. I built up enough capital to start looking into real estate. And this was 2012, around 2012. Between 2012 and 2014, I flipped 6 houses. I bought, foreclosure. Back then, foreclosure was everywhere. Every single property listed on the market was foreclosure. So first deal I did was I bought a house for $12,000. This was in Detroit near Hamtramck. Next door to the house that we used to live in. We moved to Warren from Detroit in 2011. So we used to live in Detroit near Hamtramck. We used to own a house. So next door house was being sold foreclosure. One of the neighbors told me like, hey, there's a house for sale. I know you're looking into real estate. Look at this, right? So I go, the whole bidding thing, and it was just market was just about to start, right? 2012. So I bought it for $12,500, I believe, and within like couple of hours of my closing, I sold it for $23,000. And I was like, I need to pivot. I need to take my equity out of the business that I was in, the online business. At some point, we had close to $500,000-$600,000 in inventory. So I'm like, okay. And at the time, also what was getting difficult was we diversified into Amazon because Amazon was just coming up. This was 2012, and Amazon. We were doing good on Amazon, better than eBay, but Amazon started shutting down small guys like us who were selling brand products more than the brand itself. So Victoria's Secret's Bed Bath & Body, they used to sell their stuff on their website and they didn't sell it on Amazon, right? But we were selling Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath & Body, Aeropostale, American Eagle, more than those brands itself. But Amazon was trying to grow, so they wanted those companies to come to their site. But those companies can't come if we are already established with their brand, right? So Amazon started. At some point, we had 100 accounts. And funny story, the way we built that empire. We would go to Detroit, and we would find crackheads, and we would pay them $20 for their ID and Social Security and open an account. I don't know, it's legal, right?
Oh my God.
We're doing this with their consent. But anyway, I kind of got out of that business to get into real estate investment.
Good decision.
It changed my life, and not just changed my life, saved my life in a way. There are certain parts of it I'm gonna only release of my story in my book that I'm going to publish hopefully pretty soon. But it saved my life. I would say not changed my life, saved my life. Real estate definitely did, because with the business, I was going a complete different route because of the money that you get exposed to, more money than you ever dreamed of. You start doing stuff and you start trying things out, right? So anyway, that's how I got into real estate. So after doing 6 deals, I started reading the closing statements. I started learning how to read the paperwork, right? Before that, I was here, sign here. So I started reading, and I started seeing how much the real estate agent was making. And I'm like, I'm a smart guy, by the way. I dropped out of school, not because I was bad in school. I was 3.94 GPA. I'm really good at math. And so I'm like, to me, it's automatically this is more profit if I could just get my license. Even though I didn't take into consideration all the work that's needed to be an agent and to market a property, I was just like, oh, $3,000, that's my money I'm paying you, right? So I'm like, I'll get my license. So got my license, first try, got it. And fast forward to 2015, I get married, and it's more responsibility now, and I'm more grounded, and I can't just make drastic decisions like I was doing before because I was single. So and then I had to go to real estate sales and all this. That's how really I got into real estate. And it's been so 2014 until now. It's about 9 years into real estate sales, and real estate is a game changer. If anyone's out there, it's not happy with where you are in life, right? It's not you're happy with the income that you have, right? Try
Yeah.
out real estate, but it's not real estate. Though to me, the way I look at it is just a vehicle, right? It's just a car. It's just a
But
car.
real quick, I want to go back before you continue, before we get too far away.
Yeah.
I want to say something here is that, you said something. You said, you got married in 2015. First off, that's the year I got married as well.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Awesome. Now, the thing is that when you get married, I noticed this in a man, it goes from, even if you're engaged, you go from bachelor lifestyle, mindset, everything to now I got to provide and we're going to have a family and I got to do whatever I got to do to make things happen. And basically it puts a fire up your ass.
Yeah.
And did it do that for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely did. And my wife, I'm thankful for her being like that. She's a different animal. Like she's not animal. She's a different personality, different like mindset as far as like building the future, right? And I think differently. Like I'm a high D personality. I take like risks that don't make any sense, right? I would go like buy into mastermind like $25,000 dump it, right? But she's like, hey, stick to slow down, right? So anyway, like at the time when I got married, I didn't have anything going because I had exited out of the online business. I was doing these like deals here and there, but it's not like it's nothing in concrete, right? So I was renting for the first time, right? I was moved out of my parents' house. So when I was living in my parents' house, it's kind of like chilling, right? Like you don't have nothing going on. You have no bills, right? You just got to pay for gas and insurance, and that's it, and you're just, I was kind of all over the place, right? I had no.
You're lucky in that aspect. When I had my parents said, "Oh, you move out and you come back in, like you got to pay rent."
I was contributing, but it wasn't like they're old school and they're a little conservative. Where the way they look at it is that if they made it too hard for me to live with them, then I'm just gonna go out and do all this other crazy stuff, right? So it's kind of like a protection for them,
of course,
right? But I was contributing, but it wasn't no like set expectations. It was just like a few $100s here and there, right? But when I got married, it was renting for the first time. Now I got bills, right? Now I got like we gotta go out once a week, and like not that we have to, but we wanted to, right? We wanted to live like a little bit of luxury, right? So
it's a mindset thing. I mean, you don't want to be stuck in the house, and that's a poor mindset. No offense to anybody who's doing that. If you're doing that intentionally, great for you. As long as you know that there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, because if you don't know there's a light at the end of the tunnel and you just keep living that way, you're going to go crazy. And I know this from experience. So,
I think it's for a lot of people. They just get caught up in the now, right? They got these deals, they got these debt, they got these problems that they have now. So they settle for less at the survival level and try to survive. And they just don't ever build that dream life, right? So that's who I was before I got married. I didn't have a why. I really didn't know where did I want to get to, right? I didn't have any aspirations. It was all about just making money, right? It was showing off. Showing off more than I was making money, by the way, right? So, but and even when I got married, it was just like that was the kind of like survival level. But eventually, 1, 2, 3 years into real estate, then I realized like, okay, my first year in real estate, 2014, I wasn't married, so I did like 3 or 4 deals, like no money. Second year, that was the year I got married. I did like 3 or 4 deals. 2015, 2016, I did 35 deals. 2017, I did 65 deals. 2018, I did like 70 something deals. 2019, I did like 80 something deals. 2020, I did like the highest I ever did, the COVID year, $300,000 in GCI, and rest is history. And it all started from setting that dream life. Like okay, I have made a mistake. Once I got married, I realized like I should have like figured this thing out. Like I beat myself like to the bottom, right? I was like, should have had it figured out. Like, why did I put her into this situation? And now I gotta figure it out. What is that dream life? What do I want for myself, right? I don't want to be renting, right? I don't want to be like renting a $750 one-bedroom apartment, and like we gotta go into the basement like a dungeon to do our laundry, or like all these. And we were struggling to even do that, right? That wasn't even the lifestyle we wanted, right? But setting that why is what fires a person up. And that's what I teach my coaching agents right now, agents that I coach and agents that come into my team, is that very first thing is you need to set that mindset right? The right mindset, you need to have the right habits, you need to have a dream life mapped out for yourself, because that would be that motivating factor for you to go out there and do it. If you don't have that, everything is hard, right? Making calls is hard, and getting clients is hard, and getting properties under contract is hard, and interest rates are high, and no inventory, right? But if you have that dream life and you have that aspiration, everything else is just easy. Everything is just part of the process. Everything is just, it's just the car, right? Just like, oh, I gotta go. If you're in your mind, your destination is the mind. The car could break down. You'll figure out how to get there. You'll leave the car behind and go there, right?
Yes. So no, 100%. I really agree with that. The why is important. Okay. The why in any business sense is important. Your family doing all that, that's our why. Now everyone could have a different why. Your why could be a certain lifestyle, things like that. So, I challenge anybody who's listening to this, ask yourself, what is your why? Okay. What is the reason you get up every morning to go to work and to make money and, to strive every day to be just 1% better? Because that's what we need to be doing. We need to be 1% better every day. We don't need to make huge jumps. All it takes is 1%.
1%.
All right.
And even pro tip here with the why is that, sure, start off with your why, right? Meaning I want to have this luxury lifestyle, whatever it is, right? But once you have attained that, or at some level, you need to upgrade your why. So I upgrade my why every year, right?
Oh yeah.
And you need to upgrade the why to, it has to be about other people rather than you. It has to be about other people that you want to serve, people that are around you, your family members, your friends. That's the true why that would last, right? Anything else, that if it's just about you, you will attain it very fast, and you're going to get bored, and you're going to get confused, and you're going to be lost. So 100%. It has to be about other people. That's what I found through my journey of this last 8-9 years, is that if it's not about other people, you will very fast, even if it is just for you, it's kind of like selfish, right? And sometimes you just lose their aspiration to just have it for you, right? But if it's to give, retire your parents and give the best life to your kids and your wife, and for me, my wife is just even beyond my family members. It's beyond, it's to people that I want to serve, all the real estate agents out there, all the people that are in the real estate industry that are struggling to be successful. My why is them, right? So now I have to do it. I have to wake up every day and do it for them. And some days, you'll be honest, right? Like you won't feel like doing it, right? I might not feel like coming to on this call this morning. It's Saturday, right? But I'm doing it because I want to impact those lives that are, people that are in your community. Like let them know that, hey, it is possible if you just put your mind to it, but you need to draw your dream life, right? You need to map out your
most definitely. So the thing is that, all right, so we got the whys. Everyone needs to figure out their why, and then you need to constantly upgrade it. That's kind of the gist we get out of that. So I do that every year with my goals and everything like that. So that helps me as well. Now, as far as how did you become a broker versus just an agent?
Yeah, so I never wanted to be a broker. Actually, at a
Okay.
certain point of our marriage, my wife had this like, okay, I'm gonna write this down, right? So I one time told her I will never be a broker. I'll
Okay.
never be a broker because of like how comfortable I was with my production, and
Yep.
I didn't need to, right? So I didn't be a broker for 7 years. So I've been a broker for 2 years now. So 7 years into real estate, I could have been a broker after 3 years. I qualified. You need like 6 transactions a year, right? So in my third year I did 45, 46 transactions. So I could have been a broker, right? But I didn't because I'm like, what's the point? It's more responsibility. It's more liability. I don't want to teach people, right?
Yep.
I do what I do, right? So, but at end of 2020. I maxed myself out. I was working some days, majority of 2020, even though it was COVID, we couldn't get
Yep.
out of the house. I worked like 20 hours a day, 20 hours
Wow.
a day, and 7 days a week. I would have worked 8 days if someone gave me an extra day, right?
Yeah.
And I maxed myself out. At that point, it's like there is nothing more I could give. Like I was literally
Yep.
sleeping for 3.5, 4 hours a day. I would go to sleep, shutting my laptop, wake up, turn on my laptop, right? Literally
Yep.
embed everything, right? So there is no way I could do more. I had a virtual assistant. She was my prior to 2020. My wife was my assistant, and we had our son in 2019. So once we had our son, she couldn't be my assistant anymore. My admin. So I had a transaction coordinator, and I had a virtual assistant that was doing my call, like taking in calls and doing my schedules and kind of like an admin. But I couldn't, like as a single agent, I couldn't do more, right? So I'm like, okay, I could do more business for sure. There was more business. By 2020, I had to build a database of 100,000 people. So I'm really big into online leads, and all of majority, like 90% of our business is generated through online. And it has changed over since 2020. I kind of shifted things. I started focusing on, okay, all these deals that we closed by now, we closed close to 1,000 transactions. I'm like, all these deals that we closed, we have done nothing to build the relationship with those people. We're just going from deal to deal to deal, new people, and there were return, but no intentional systems around like getting return business, right? But anyway, I looked at it. I'm like, the opportunity is huge. I could do double the business that I did in 2020 if I had the capacity. So I decided to increase my capacity. I hired a coach to build teams, and they kind of gave me an option, 3 options. Number one, you build a team by adding in slowly by a showing assistant, right? And you kind of outsource your showings and you outsource your tasks. Number two, you step out of the production halfway. You hire buyer agents, you hire listing agents, and you start building a team, but you're still in production. And number three is you step away from production all the way and you start building a team. And with the first option is the slowest growth. Second option, it was like mid growth. That I should have went with the second option, but I went with the third option, is like the fastest growth. I'm like, okay, I have the opportunities. It's only a matter of setting up this team. So I decided to start the team. 1 year into build in the first 3 months, I recruited like 16 agents. It's like I went like all in. But through that process, I realized like it takes a lot more than just like having opportunities. You gotta train these agents. You gotta coach these agents. I'm having these meetings with agents that see opportunities with me, and I kept coming across people just saying, are you a broker? Right? And I'm like, I'm not a broker, but I probably sold more houses than you're a broker, right? But anyway, so initially I got licensed as a broker just so that I get rid of this conversation. Are you a broker? Like, yes, I'm a broker from the beginning of the conversation, right? But eventually now that we are switched over to EXP, now there is a lot more benefits that I see being a broker than just a conversational benefit. Honestly, an agent in real estate, a real estate agent has the same opportunity. If you're in EXP, you have the same opportunity as a broker.
Yep.
Added benefits are you can open up an office, the conversational benefits. But with my vision now, I want to help 1,000 agents be just like me or achieve the goals that I have achieved, right?
Yes.
So to do that, I need to operate at the highest level possible in the real estate sales industry, and that's pretty much why I'm a broker and not an agent.
Well, that's awesome. You're doing it to help. You're doing it to help people. Now, obviously, they have splits and everything in being an agent versus being a broker. When you became a broker, did that help with the splits?
With the brokerage I was with before,
yeah.
there wasn't a lot of benefit. With EXP, there is no benefit. It's the same.
Okay.
EXP is a model where EXP Realty is a model. It's a cloud-based brokerage.
Yep.
We're in all 50 states. We are in 23 countries. It's a model designed to kind of eliminate that barrier and to create a playing field for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Yes, being a broker, the added benefit is you could have your own office. You could open up an office without approval, right? Like you don't have to get another broker to kind of sponsor your office and all of that. But the splits are same. It's the same. It's same as an agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So and you said you've built how many teams?
Oh yeah. So I have my personal team, right?
Yep.
Which I actually broke in the middle when I left my previous broker. I had 16 agents in my team. When I decided to leave the other brokerage, I let go of all the agents. I broke the team. I was like, there is no more team. Just to see like who was in the team because of they saw benefit with me, and I was leaving, so I didn't want to make it like, oh, you are in the team, so you have to leave with me. I'm like, whoever voluntary comes, they come. And also another thing was I was new starting the team, so I kind of recruited a lot of people that were not really fit to be in my culture, right? Like
Yep.
they were just in it for money. They saw, oh, this guy has so much opportunities. I'm gonna go join his team and I'm gonna just get rich overnight, right? But they didn't have the work ethic, so I had to kind of break the team, redo the team. So I rebranded the team when I came to EXP. I partnered with another team. This was 2022, where I went and I'm silent partner. I went and set up their generation systems, their recruiting and retaining system, basically training and coaching system. I'm also in the process of talking to a couple of other teams. So moving forward, my model pretty much is like I obviously run my local team. I'll train and coach agents who are nationally or locally who see the value in my training and coaching and want to join into EXP, sponsored by me. They would get access to all of my training and coaching. I would partner up with teams that are struggling, that don't have the systems, don't know how to grow, don't know how to scale. So so that and probably in the process of partnering up with 2 other teams, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how far I can go with partnerships and mergers.
Yeah. And I think the thing is that partnerships, and I've had to learn this on my own because I started with a partnership, and partnerships are good when you have open communication about the roles. Okay. But not only that, but updated communication with the roles. So in the beginning, I'm doing X, Y, Z. As those X, Y, Z, and you're doing A, B, C. Okay. And then as X, Y, Z goes from this much of the tasks, okay, so 50% of the tasks to now 10% of the tasks. Okay, now we need to reevaluate.
You're right.
Now you got
you're exactly right. You have experience in a partnership for sure.
I do, because that's exactly what happened with my partnership. Is I was doing, as our tasks went up, I was doing 50%. Mine ended up being more than 50% because I was here local. He was not. And his task went down. So it was it was crazy. And whenever I tried to discuss it with him, it was kind of shot down. So I eventually had to go out on my own.
Yeah.
And, I'm like, I'm sorry, but you know what? I gave him the whole business. I literally just left the business. I said, you have the website, you have the SEO that we put into it, you have, and kind of go from there. So,
Yeah. So
but
this is something I learned probably last 4 years, 3 years. Is that from Tony Robbins' Business Mastery, and he talks about partnerships and relationships. Is that it comes down to two things, okay? With
yeah,
any relationships, with any partnerships, it's that mutual respect and mutual trust, right?
yes,
And mutual respect and mutual trust comes from mutual interest being met, right? So
yep,
as soon as you have mutual interest not being met, so one party might have their interest being met, which was your partner who had it all.
yep,
So you're doing everything right. I'm still a 50% partner, and you were not happy with that. Your
yep,
interest was not being met. You were putting in more time. What would happen is that mutual trust and respect would start being affected. So as
yep,
soon as mutual trust and respect gets attacked, the relationship starts deteriorating, right? Our
yeah.
partnership starts deteriorating. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's funny is that everybody's like, well, maybe he put up the money in the beginning. And I'm like, no, actually we did 50-50 on the money,
Mhm.
on all the marketing. Then we got it to a point where the business was taking care of itself, you
Mhm.
know, and we were hiring virtual assistants
Yeah.
and well, it turns out the virtual assistants wasn't taking my job. It was taking most of his,
Yeah.
you know, so it was taking like that much of mine,
Yeah.
of my time. So,
Yeah, you
but
gotta be
yeah,
fluid for partnerships to work. You gotta be fluid. You gotta have open communication.
$100.
You gotta have this conversation about the mutual respect and trust, right? And the mutual
Yep.
interest being met. Like, hey, for us to work for a long term, we're not just, you gotta be clear. Like, we're not just doing it for now. We are gonna do it for 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is, right? You gotta set that
Yep.
goal. You gotta set that destination. And throughout this journey, we got to always talk about this mutual interest, right?
Yep.
My mutual interest today is this, but it might change 1 year from now. And we got to talk about it and get on the same page about it. And sure, it might not work. Like at certain point, our mutual interest may not be the same anymore. And it might not be possible for us to meet in the middle, right?
Yep.
And we will, you got to talk about how you're going to exit to the partnership.
Yeah. And
Before you're ready.
actually going into a partnership, the big mistake that I did was I didn't talk about that in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you have to have those conversations. Hey, what if one of us decides to leave?
How is it going
Okay.
to happen?
How is it going to happen?
Mhm.
Not saying that we're planning, we're not planning for an exit right
Yeah.
now. We're just, how would that work in your ideal situation?
Mm.
Say
Yeah.
we get up to millions and millions of dollars and I want to go build my own team now, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Now, so the key thing is we'll kind of get back off of that in just a moment. But the key thing is that if you have a partnership, keep open communication and talk about everything before you go into that partnership.
Exactly. Yeah. You gotta
Make sure you both on the same page. And even if you are in the beginning, you still have to keep that communication going on further down the road. Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, my brother says my camera is laggy, and I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's probably my internet here. We had the storm last night, so but anyways, the key thing is that you got to have those open communications. You got to be on the same page, and if you're not, then just exit gracefully.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my exit was not as gracefully because of my partner chose that. So he didn't like the fact that I was leaving. So
The way I look at it, like, look, you left with grace.
yeah, I did.
You left. So just look, hey, you did your part, and you
exactly.
When it came to grace, right? And end of the day, you will always get it in return. Your return on investment is guaranteed in the nature of the universe, right?
Yeah.
and leave it at that, right?
And what's funny is that that's where I started building this community, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, that's the thing, but
This is
hey,
in my coaching, this is my second law of mindset is everything happens for your own good, not for a good reason, for
yeah,
your own good. Everything that happens to us in life, right? It
yep,
happens for our own good. And you can see like the partnership didn't work out, but now look at you, right? You're building a
yes.
community on your own, which is amazing.
Oh yeah. So, and that's the thing, like, so let me kind of get off that topic real quick and let's move forward here. And I actually, we're coming up on 40 minutes here.
Yeah.
I have actually a very important question because I'm a wholesaler. A lot of people in our communities are wholesalers. Okay. And if they're not wholesalers, they're either investors and want to work with good agents that can find them good deals.
Yeah.
Not this, okay, I'm going to give you $10,000 off of retail price and, and you're going to call it a deal. No, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So how can wholesalers work with agents? Because I primarily do off market, not on market.
Mhm.
Okay. But what I want to do is I want to develop relationships with other agents. And hey, you get that property that is distressed, it's a hoarder property, whatever the case may be.
Send them out, we will pick it up. Yeah.
Exactly. Send them our way. We'll pick it up. We'll work with you. I'll JV it with that agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And split my commission. I don't care.
You don't have to do that. Like, hey, this is too much offer. It's too much. But this is how, I'll break it down.
I want to make it a win-win for everybody.
This is how it could be win-win. Well, first of all, hey, you come across properties that are distressed and will be harder to sell on the market, and the seller wants like move it fast. Don't waste your time putting it on the market. Send it to us. We're gonna pick it up, right?
Yep.
In return, what we will do is when we come across, which you did without even you sent me that listing. By the way, I've been in communication with him, and we set a time for us to go out. He had something come up, but I'm gonna follow up with him.
That's awesome.
In return, what I will do is I talk to sellers all the time, right?
Yep.
Whenever there is a seller that wants higher than what we can afford to buy it for, kind of like a retail price, I'm gonna get them connected with you. That's the win, right?
Yep.
Beyond that, how else can wholesalers and investors work with real estate agents? And I haven't seen, there are some wholesalers doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You got a deal that is kind of tight on the margin, right? Or it doesn't have to be tight on the margin. Put it on the market. Put it on the MLS. Your assignable interest, as long as the broker allows it, you can actually put your assignable interest onto MLS as long as the seller is aware of it, right? You get the permission from the seller. It's called a novation agreement. So you could do that, right? And work with realtors will love it. They want listing. Okay, they want no matter what.
And actually, in my contract, for marketing, I put in there that I'm allowed to put it on the MLS.
Okay, yeah. So that's one way you can build relationship with realtors. Beyond that, I would say, see, what wholesalers and investors. Actually, in my opinion, I have this opinion because I started investing, right? I was in, Dan Merrill's community. I bought his programs and, learned a lot about real estate investment back then. And then when I got into real estate, I started working with real estate investors. I was always like, by now I have probably worked with over 150 investors. So we know exactly what an investor looks for, right? The cap rate, return on investment, and all of that, right? Renovation project and all of that, right? So if you're an investor out there or a wholesaler out there, you want to work with agents that are kind of investor savvy, right? Not all real estate agents. I would say majority of real estate agents, not that they don't want to work with investors, they just don't know how to, right? They just don't have experience in the investment ground. They just
Yep.
know the transactions and they just know how to buy and sell a house, but they just don't know what an investor is looking for. So you
Yep.
want to, if there is an agent out there, so you want to network with agents, find out their experience. But if they have the experience, you want to work with agents that knows the investment game. There is a lot of value in working with one because they're on the ground. Investors and wholesalers may not be, right. They're not. They may not be. I disagree a lot, by the way, with people that are heavily involved in investment, and we are heavily involved in the retail, right?
Yep.
I find, especially markets like this right now, investors are like doomsday mindset, like, oh, but everything's gonna crash, like, and we're like everything's gonna skyrocket, right? We're opposite, right? So it's good to have that synergy between the opposite end of the market, right? To have that connection, so you can get that perspective, and all the signs shows us, especially in the retail market, that this market is not slowing down. It's going to keep going up at least for the next 3 years. But investors that I talk to, right, they're like, oh, it's done. Like, market's dry. Nothing's happening in the market. It's about to crash, baby. We're holding on to our cash.
Yeah, I agree with that. With that mindset, I do. There are I've seen especially after the last year, I saw a lot of people not buying in Detroit. Where versus the year prior, everybody was buying in Detroit.
Yeah,
it all came down to the fear. It all came down to, am I going to get my investment, or am I going to get my high end return that I wanted? So that's where I talk with a lot of buyers, and I know, what people are looking for right now. But the thing is that there's the retail side, and then there's the investor side. And what I hear from investors, and then I talk to other wholesalers who say have a deal locked up way too high, and I let them know, hey, this is what an investor is going to pay. Like, at this moment, you may be lucky to get a little bit above that, but right now they're probably only going to be here. And then they go and find some guy who's doing it for the first time, who pays a little bit more above,
they don't have the experience, right?
Right. So everybody was lucky in the past couple of years because the market was like this.
Yeah.
Okay. It was like that. And if you got something and you overpriced it, no problem, you still get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And still profitable. These days,
profitable.
If you overpriced it, you might struggle, right?
Yeah.
But does not mean market's crashing, right?
No. It's going to sit on the market until the price comes proper.
Yeah.
The market dictates the price.
Yeah, it's the demand that dictates the price. And by the way, over the last 1 year, we're heavily involved in generating, it's like, if you're in the market in the Metro Detroit area, you will see our ad somewhere, right? Either Google PPC or Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok ads, YouTube ads, whatever, right? And we grab them, right? We are like, we are hoarding all the goodies. But what we have seen now is that even the people, the smartest investors in other markets are not coming into Detroit. Even real estate, maybe one of my clients will be watching this. I gave him the tip, like, hey, go join all the off-market Facebook groups. Yep. But there are real estate agents, like he's from Florida, Paul. He bought up 3 properties in Detroit without even looking, right? Without even looking. It's like, hey, this is cheap. This is $50,000. Like, I could never buy one here in the Florida market. I don't care what the property's like. I don't care. As long as this is moving ready, just buy it. Just go make the offer. And it was funny to me was because, like, hey, you're experienced with this. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, yeah, I've been doing this. I'm a real estate agent. I'm like, okay, write the offer, get it under contract. Right. But yeah, there are people that are coming from You just got to talk to the right investors. You
Yeah.
know, if there are look, I started when there was $5,000 houses in Detroit. I wish I started when there was $1 houses in Detroit.
I know, right?
Decent property was $5,000. Decent. You still have to do the cosmetics and all that.
Yep.
Right now, you can't find anything decent like without like a major problem for $40,000. That's what we are facing right now. Every day we got buyers that are looking at that range, and it's very hard to find something that's decent. There still needs another, even at $40,000, you still need another like $10,000 worth of work, right? Give or take, right? So
Yeah.
if you got investors who've been in this market for 10 years, they will never pay $50,000 because they're used to that $5,000 price.
Yep.
If you're talking to investors that are in like California market, in New York market, in Florida market, they're like, what? $40,000? Amazing. Give me that deal, right? So you got to talk to the right people.
No, 100%. That's the thing. Like, it's funny because I see these posts in my group and in other groups that, hey, I'm looking for Detroit properties under 30 grand and very light rehab.
It's like,
I'm
what
like,
do you want, a land bank property?
I'm like, unless you go to a war zone, you're not going to get that. Now I can go to like 48213 and probably get that.
Yeah.
Okay. I can go on a rental neighborhood. There are certain areas in Detroit I can get that, but they're going to be there. It's not going to be the highest return. It's going to be the higher risk areas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you don't have a proper property management system set up, by all means, you're going to lose your ass because it's going to go through a year of tenants. Then they'll either start not pay, or as soon as they leave, they'll trash your property, or it's not even the tenant. Yeah. As soon as they leave, the property does not get, how shall I say, secured properly by the, by either the homeowner or the property management company, whatever it is. Now you got a furnace stolen, hot water tank stolen, windows broken. And the worst case scenario is you get a squatter, and I say that's the worst case because a squatter can hold you up for a long time, because now you got to officially evict them.
Yeah. Sure. You definitely, those are very common problems. Then even beyond that, there are more problems after squatter. Squatter is not the end all be all problem.
Yep.
The squatter could draft a quitclaim deed.
Yes.
Fake your signature because they got it. I don't know. Somehow they found your signature. They got a fake notary and record the deed into the public records, and that's the big problem, right? Now you got to do title action. But this is the tip I would give to wholesalers and investors: is that if you are facing buyers not wanting to pay the price for the deals, right? But you are confident your numbers are right. Go to saturated market Facebook groups. So California investor groups, New York investor groups, Texas are still medium. California is the big, right? Investors in California will dump money into Detroit and advertise your deals, advertise the opportunities in Detroit there. Okay.
Yep.
Select buyers from there. Okay. Trust me on this because I've been working with investors all over the states, even different countries, right? Invest in Detroit. They could like blindfoldly give you the like market price, and you're in wholesaler, right? They'll give you like what the numbers, the highest numbers possible. So that's a tip I would give. Like, go to unsaturated markets and attract buyers from there. And it's all, whenever price is the problem, that means whoever's the buyer, they're not recognizing the value, right? This is like basic sales principle. Whenever the price is the problem, whatever you're charging or whatever the product is, the buyers are questioning the price is because they don't recognize the value. And if they have been in this market for a long time, the value is diminishing because the property values are appreciating, right? So now you got to go find buyers who will see value in $50,000, $60,000 deals, right? Because they're used to $300,000 deals for the same cap rate, right?
100%. 100% agree with you on that. And it's funny because I'll get some people, some other either wholesalers or any others that will come into my group and say, hey, can I post from other states in here? And I go, you're really not going to want to do that. No offense.
Nobody's going to want that.
No one's going to want it, like
But
unless now the only caveat is if it's a multi-unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Multifamily, 100% different. Everybody from everywhere will want it,
Yeah.
as long as it's priced right, of course.
Mhm.
But I'm like, you trying to list a single family home down in Florida, like there's remote investors, but the price points are going to be way different.
Yeah. And the return on investment, the markets like Florida and New York right now, they're almost like breaking even just to be in the game, right?
Yes.
Conversations I have had over the last 2 years, those markets have like shrink, right? Meaning because of the price appreciation, because the demand on the retail side, they're almost making like pennies on the dollar, right? So there is not a lot of opportunity. There's still opportunities out there for sure in different markets.
Yep.
Yeah, go after.
So no, I completely agree with that, and that's a huge tip. So with that, we're coming up to close to the end here. How can any of my audience, anybody from the Facebook group, anybody here who's watching this on YouTube or anything like that, help you? And if they want to work with you, how would they be able to get in touch with you as well?
Oh, sure. The Success Broker and any social media platforms, Real Estate Sales Machine, which is actually, by the way, getting rebranded on June 1st as Boss Agents, because when I first started my coaching program, I had this goal in mind that I'm going to help anyone and everyone in the real estate sales space, wholesalers, investors with lead generation. Because that's my strong suit, online leads. But after doing this for 3 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to niche down to just agents, right? So what we are doing now is leveraging technology, leveraging AI, using AI in every aspect of real estate sales. So I'm going to rebrand to Boss Agents. But the Success Broker, you can find me anywhere. How you can contribute is I want to be in front of as many cameras and as many microphones. Right? So with my knowledge and experience, it's not that I want to just be in front because I want to be famous, because I want to give back, right?
Yes.
And every aspect of the real estate business, I have knowledge and experience in. Whether it's investment side, I did wholesale deals myself, even though I'm an agent through this last 7-8 years, right? So. I could contribute, right? Even if it's lead generation, you want to bring me on, talk about how can someone generate leads online through social media like clockwork. I could show it to you. Like, I literally share my screen and like, hey, you know what? 5-minute tutorial, right? I'm gonna set up an ad and show you guys how you can start generating leads for $5 a lead, right? So yeah, that's how you can help me, is putting me in front of your audience, and I want to give back to as many people as possible. But yeah, you can reach out. We have coaching programs on lead generation, on building a real estate business. These principles are really designed for agents, but it applies to investors, right? The whole mindset hacks and the habits required to become successful in real estate, and the business planning and goal setting, and the systems required, the CRM and the lead generation, and the objection handling and setting appointment and analyzing deals, and whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah. No, 100%. That's awesome. So yeah, no, I'm happy to help as much as we can here. And anybody out there, if you are a agent, if you want to reach out to them, you know what? And honestly, I recommend any other wholesalers out there. You might get flooded, by the way. Any other wholesalers, reach out to him and his team. And see how you can, benefit from a mutual relationship,
For sure. Yeah.
Now, I sent him a lead because it came through my cold call system and they wanted too much, I sent him a lead, and honestly, I don't expect anything back, but if I get something,
Yeah,
guess
I
what?
got you,
It
bro. Like I
happens,
told you, if
you
this
know?
one and the guy was pretty nice actually. I talked to him
Yeah,
personally, and he was like, "Yeah, come out," and we set a time. But then that day, he was like, "Hey," and he reached out, and so that tells
yeah,
me that he's interested in getting in this.
yes.
So I'll definitely convert, but once it sells, I got you, bro.
Most definitely. So that's another way you as a wholesaler can work on this. Now, as a wholesaler, if you're in there and you're doing it for a few years and you're getting the hang of it and you're doing this and you want to become an agent, under a broker that allows you to wholesale.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
That's the key thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Because not all agents will allow you to wholesale. I plan on doing it someday, but I have my day job. I have a lot
I'm
of things
counting
going
days. I'm
on.
holding my breath.
I got a lot going on. So,
Yeah, what the real estate retail space needs is with diversity, right? Everyone's doing the same
yes,
thing over and over again, right? But we need wholesalers to become agents. Bring that
yes,
aspect of the business. There are people thirsty in the retail space for the wholesale knowledge. So you get licensed, you will have like a ready-made community that
yep.
wants to hear from you. Like, hey, like
Yep.
you're our master. Tell us, master, what to do.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing, you take that knowledge, you just move it forward. And remember what I said in the beginning is you move and you strive to be 1% better every single day. Okay. Um, if you, some days you might move 1% better and move 2% back, who knows?
Yeah.
But as long as the next day you move 1% better, that
Yeah.
it's all forgiven, right? That you just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So, one other thing that this is, we're gonna end the show here. But one thing that I do want to ask everybody out there for is it's a personal thing, and I don't usually bring this stuff up. All I'm asking for is prayers at the moment for my mother. She's fighting pancreatic cancer at the moment. So we know that there's no getting rid of it.
No.
It's just we're trying to prolong her life as much as possible. So I at least want to say, just prayers. On my Facebook page, I do have there's a link on there. It's pinned at the top for a GoFundMe. If anybody wants to put anything, it's just to help her out with bills until some disability comes in for her. But at the same point, I'm mainly just asking for prayers. That's it. That's all I'm asking for right now.
Everything that happens to us is by God for us.
Yes.
Right? So we ask God that he removes this difficulty out of her body and cures her completely if it's good for her. And if something else is good for her, if it's her time to meet God, and that's what's good for her, we will accept that as the ending, right? And we have to believe in our heart that God is the ultimate destination, right? So he will end of the day take care of us. And this sickness, may this sickness be an alleviation for her status with God, and God removes all of her sins with this sickness, right? Because of the sickness. And hopefully in the end, it's all about uniting with our loved ones, right? So hopefully in the end, one day you are able to unite with her, with God, once this circus is over. Right? At the end of the day, we are all in this circus called life, and it's temporary. End of the day, for all of us have to meet death. Each one of us have a different destination as far as how we will die, but we will all die, right? That's the reality of it. But what counts is that we unite with our loved ones after that death, right? Our destination becomes the same with God. So I pray for that for you and your.
Most definitely. I appreciate that. And anybody else out there, I appreciate, appreciate any prayers you can give. you know, she's a great woman and she's always been there for my life in my life. We've had hard times in the beginning. I did not grow up rich. I grew up lower middle class. I like to call it that. You know,
Okay, just say it
so
just for the social media, like clickbait. Say I grew up hillbilly.
I truly did. So, you know, but it's all right. It's all right though.
Yeah.
So, you know, it made me the man who I am today, and I can never take that back. You know, my father, I truly, he was going through problems, but you know, I spent the last years with him, and I know that God put him. I know that God postponed him going to him because he knew I was not ready to live without him.
Mm.
So I truly believe that's exactly what he's doing with my mother. You know, and not only me, but my family members. I'm one of 4 children. So I have a younger sister. I have an older sister and a younger brother. So, you know, blessings to all of them. And the good thing is this is bringing all of us, you know, together.
Yeah.
So as a family to work together. So, but with that being said, all right, back to the real estate. Let's all do deals together. Let's get this going and let's dominate this damn market. All right.
No
Let's
matter
dominate it.
Crush it every single day, every single week. Set your goals. Know exactly where you want to get to. Break it down into actionable steps and take action every single day.
Most definitely. All right. So with that being said, everyone out there, it's come to that time. You have a great day. If you want to contact me and do deals together, my number has been right here this whole time. My email's been flying down at the bottom here, and you know, go ahead and contact me. I'm happy to work with anybody. I'm an open book. I really am. So I've contacted so many people has contacted me just for advice. I give it freely. All right. If you want to come on video and we'll record something, by all means, I'm happy to do that as well. So with that being said, have a great day. Let's all go do deals together and make more business. All right.
Thank you, Randy.